ozone layer is natural, and we really, really need it. Whereas ground level ozone, which is what is made from photochemical smog, is not natural, and we do not need it. So depending on where it's found in the atmosphere, ozone affects life on Earth in either positive or negative ways. So, positive, which layer of the atmosphere is ozone positive? Stratosphere. Which layer of the atmosphere is ozone negative? Troposphere. Perfect. Perfect. So, the ozone layer. So, ozone is a molecule that occupies most of the atmosphere in the lower stratosphere. It forms a layer that's about 20 kilometers thick. So, the ozone layer is not just like a layer of frosting on a cake. It's like a really, really thick layer of ozone molecules. So, like we learned in our activity today, the ozone layer is an important protective shield for life on Earth, filtering out more than 99% of ultraviolet or UV light from the sun before it reaches us. And if you're curious, that's the stuff that gives you skin cancer. Thank you. So the ozone layer is there to protect us, block out the carcinogen that is UV light. So the energy from the UV light is used to drive a natural process that breaks down and reforms ozone molecules and obtains the ozone layer. So in our activity today, when you guys were breaking down the ozone molecules and the oxygen molecules and they're being rebuilt again, that was simulating this, that in normal circumstances, the atmosphere is able to repair any damage the UV light does to the ozone layer. That by itself, it naturally rebuilds it whenever it gets broken down. So you can kind of see in this diagram that step one is we have an oxygen molecule. That oxygen molecule is going to get broken by light coming in. So you have two free oxygen molecules. One of the free one is going to attach to another oxygen molecule and create ozone. The light breaks down the ozone into just an oxygen molecule, and then you go through that process again. So really the life cycle of ozone is it's oxygen and then it's ozone, and then it's oxygen and then it's ozone, going back and forth. However, we know that the amount of ozone is impacted by pollution and can decrease. So this is showing you the poles. So this is the ozone layer right here. And like I said in the video, it doesn't mean that there's no ozone here at all. It just means there's like a very thin layer of ozone. So imagine you're ice skating on a pond. It'd be like where there's thin layer of ice versus a thick layer of ice, which I would highly suggest not going ice skating on a pond because you can fall in and die. So don't do that. But analogy-wise. So, stratospheric ozone depletion is caused by natural factors such as sunspots and stratospheric winds, and by anthropogenic. Somebody remind me, what does the word anthropogenic mean again? Human caused. Human caused things such as CFCs. So CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, is the main culprit, because even though sunspots happen and there's wind, those things are not as damaging to the ozone layer as CFCs are. right, so consequences of ozone layer depletion. Exposure to UV rays affect health. It is known to weaken our immune systems, cause sunburns, wrinkles, and can lead to cancer. So this is just my plea to you guys. I know that it's really cool to be tan in the summertime. Like, everybody will try to fry themselves. They'll go to tanning beds. They'll go out and try to get sunburnt. So speaking from someone whose mom has had skin cancer 3 times because she was a big old dummy and she would literally put baby oil on herself and go lay on her roof to get tan. I'm like, Mom, what the heck? Like, you cannot undo the damage to your skin. Please, please, please put on sunscreen. If you don't listen to me, then listen to Jonathan Van Ness, who is like the fashion guru on Queer Eye. Like, whenever he talks to anybody about beauty stuff, the very first thing he ever asks them is, do you put on sunscreen every single day? Like, it is so important to put on sunscreen. So, please, please, please take care of your skin. It's the only skin you have. And I don't want to see your pretty skin destroyed by scars because of cancer. So, just throwing that out there. It's cool to be tan, but it's cooler to not have cancer. Also, not only for humans, UV rays can also be harmful to plants and life on the top layer of oceans. So it's not just like a human thing, it's like a whole entire ecosystem thing. So how do we mitigate ozone depletion? Like the video said, we have the Montreal Protocol. So the Montreal Protocol was a meeting where we all decided, hey, let's stop using chlorofluorocarbons. Let's use something else. So I know it's not highlighted in blue, but please write down Montreal Protocol, because Montreal Protocol is like a staple when it comes to talking about chlorofluorocarbons. Probably was. That one dummy.
Same guy.
Same guy. Also the same guy that put lead in paint. Like, gosh. So the alternatives that we have to CFCs, we have HCFCs, which are called hydrochlorofluorocarbons. And they are replacing chlorofluorocarbons in electronics. They're substituted for foam, for like cooling. They're substitutes in refrigerants. But with every solution, there's always a downfall. I mean, if you haven't learned anything in this class, it's that there is no one correct solution. HCFCs are also, they deplete the ozone layer, but they just do it slower, and they are a potential greenhouse gas. So even though they help the ozone layer, they still have their downfalls. And with that, that's our very last thing for notes today. And I'm going to hand out your 4-question paper.